Here we have a Cincinnati area wrestler who's in here in the finals. This is Tommy Ty, 130-pounder. He's a junior from Summit Country Day, and he comes in here 36-0, and he has a 91-7 overall career record. He's meeting a sophomore from Cary High School, Nick Mengerick, who comes in with a 31-4 record to the finals. Gee, Steve, I'm still having a hard time getting over that last match. I guess you build something like that up so much, you just can't get away with it. We keep finding more things out. We didn't bother looking at all our background materials on those two. This is Tommy Ty coming out on the mat. You can see Tom Ty is ready, folks. This kid is ready to do it. Comes right to the middle. We're going to start right out. Ty, guys, both of them in blue singlets, blue and white singlets. They're almost identical singlets.
Tommy has the silver headgear on, and Nick Mengerick has the...
And Tommy is designated green on the scoreboard, and Mengerick is designated red. Mengerick has the white knee pads. Ty has the black knee pads. Gee, I don't know how else we can distinguish them. Tommy Ty is the African American. Okay, we're still in the first period. Mengerick comes out of Cary High School, and now, Steve, I always prided myself on knowing where these Division III schools are, and I'll be real honest with you, that's one I don't know.
And Dave, I can't really help you out. I know that Nick's a sophomore.
He's also, looks like he's about 6 feet 8 inches tall, yeah, looking down there at him. He's one of the tallest 130-pounders I've ever seen. My heart goes out at this weight class. This is as close as we now wrestle to a weight that I had the chance to sit the championship chair in for a kid by the name of Craig Keller back in a few years back back around 1980, as a matter of fact. He was a 32-pounder, and that's the 30 is the closest one to that weight anymore. So I love to watch and see how the 30-pounders are doing now.
Craig Keller was a special story, being hurt his senior year and coming back and winning a state championship. That had to be a very gratifying year for you, Dave.
Yeah, it was. That was a fun ride. It was, and part of the fun of it is that it was a very short year. Craig was injured and only got to wrestle after the beginning of January, actually, middle of January, and so he had kind of a short season. And in some ways that really helped him because he came in and he wasn't banged up. But that's not Tommy Ty's not banged up either. He's coming in here. He's got a little tape on his right hand, probably a thumb jammed or something. Mengerick is not letting him inside. Ty, I've watched him on numerous occasions. Ty works very, Ty works quite well on his takedown series. He loves to wrestle on his feet. He was saying that that's where it really is. His dad, interestingly, his dad is his coach at Summit Country Day, and Tommy's brother, Don Jr. actually, is currently wrestling in the Division III Nationals out in Butte, Montana. He wrestles at Mount St. Joseph for Ron Cordini, the head coach down there at Mount St. Joe. And so Tom comes from a long line. His dad wrestled at Princeton High School back a few years ago, more than a few years ago, obviously. But we won't embarrass his dad about how long ago it was.
You know, I was looking at the parent information sheets, Don and Jeanette Ty, and also one from the previous match from Donna Rocky. There is a consensus from the parents that this is a character builder. It's a sport that requires discipline, and there's a lot of anxiety when you have to watch your son out there wrestling and being, as Donna Rocky said, twisted in positions I didn't think the body was able to go in. And the experience that these parents and the kids get out of this tournament and the whole event of wrestling is very positive.
Yeah. Well, Tommy Ty is seemingly in control of this match down here, Steve. He's in the offensive position here in the second period, and He seems to be having things pretty much his own way. There's no score in the match, but he seems to be able to control his opponent with pretty good ability. Now he's throwing legs in. Notice that his dad, I have to agree with his dad a lot that wrestling is 70% takedowns and 30% mental. I think Coach Ty hit it right on the head.
Oh, sure.
But right now his son is exhibiting that there's also a pretty important part of the sport in being able to control your opponent. And Nick Mengerik, Carey, hasn't been able to break loose yet. Now, at this point, coaches kind of sit on the side. The only thing that really gets to you is the last 30 seconds of the match. I can't imagine Dick Murphy and Ron Masonic's blood pressure, quite honestly. Oh, Ty's got a tilt started, although I don't think he's going to get back points out of it.
Dave, they'll remember that match, both Masonic and Dick Murphy. Can you remember Craig Keller's match?
Oh, yeah, sure. Of course, those guys have got a little bit of an advantage on me, Steve. They've each had several state champions. Ron Masonic's had numerous state champions. Dick's had a number of state champions. Yeah, and had state champions, and he's had numerous second place winners. Here's Coach Ty coming in here. His first time with his son as a potential state champion. But the emotions never change. I was talking to Dick Murphy before that 125-pound match over there. Just here before the final started, and he was supposed to write down all the kids that had wrestled for him and placed up here and everything. And he looked at me and said, "You got to be kidding! You can't remember them all. I can't remember them all." He could jot off names, but it wasn't. It's so hard. And he said, "Don't mention any of them because I can't remember all of them." So
Exactly.
But each one was something special. We got a little bit of a timeout here. I'm not quite sure what happened to Tommy Ty.
Tommy Ty pointed to his hand. I don't know whether the wrap had twisted on it or whether
he's more heavily taped there than I thought he
Yeah.
was. Looks like he may have more of a problem with that hand than just a little stove thumb.
Trying to go up and out.
Get to his feet. Keeps having to put weight down on that hand. If it's sore, that's not helping too much anyway.
Well, he's not even attempting to break hand control with his.
No, he's not using his hands
hand
to break free. He just squirts out kind of like a frog. And he gets his escape, and so goes on top, 1-0. This is Division III, 130-pound state final championship match at the Ohio High School 1994 State Wrestling Championships. This is Tom Ty of Summit Country Day versus Nick Mengery of Cary.
You mentioned earlier, Dave, that Tom's older brother is wrestling for the College of Mount St. Joseph under Coach Cordini and Coach Dan Starkey.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure, but I think Dan Starkey was going to try and come up here, and we talked about it before, but for the wrestlers that are not going to be invited to wrestle in Division I programs, that's an alternative where they really can benefit from the college experience of wrestling, and I'm sure that Coach Cordini and Coach Starkey would be interested in hearing from any and all of the wrestlers that participated in this event.
We've mentioned it before during the course of the season this year, Steve. There's serious problems at the national level in a lot of sports, and especially we're beginning to feel the pinch in wrestling. Surprisingly, the problems don't seem to be occurring at the Division II and III levels. It's occurring at the Division I, and it has to do with the number of scholarships that are granted and things like that. So certainly I think the sport is going to continue to be alive and well at certainly at Division III wrestling, where wrestling is a little bit closer to that of the high school level of emphasis. It's a sport, and it's part of the whole thing, as opposed to being a business that sometimes we find Division I athletics becoming. Although I talked to someone, I don't know who it was telling me that they did a study up here last year on the amount of money that this tournament brings into Greater Dayton. Tom Ty has almost given up a takedown here, but he's sitting up again. He's got super hip position. Seems to be coming up, and Menning steps over. He's going to get a takedown on Ty. Ty's looking around like, goodness, let me out of here. Elevate. Whew, boy. That's close. I can see referees are discussing that one down there. No takedown, both up. That was close. That almost was the match for, and Mr. Ty almost came up short on that one.
We got all
now
the
spin.
nice move.
Happens so often. Kid almost has a takedown, comes back and takes a dive at something, misses it, and gives up the takedown.
Well, the noise you're hearing behind us is a Division I match, and we see Tommy Ty with his championship at 130 pounds. But the Division I match, we've got Brad Clement from St. Edwards and Jeff Hicken from...
Tommy Ty is almost overwhelmed by his victory, and that's quite obviously he's emotionally distraught, I guess is the only way to describe it.
Spent.
You got to give it all out there, or you might as well not even bother coming. You got to turn it all loose. You got to put it out there. Fine championship. Congratulations, Tom Ty. Summit Country Day brings another championship home to the greater Cincinnati. Wonderful job.
Well, let me tell you what happened in that the Division I 130-pound class. Brad Clement from St. Ed's came in 37-0. He's a junior, and he wrestled Jeff Hicken from Kent Roosevelt, who came in at 37-2. Jeff Hicken, a senior, and Jeff Hicken upset the #1 seed, Brad Clement from St. Ed's. And it must have been a heck of a match. We see the trainer, the doctor, looking at Tommy Ty. I think Tommy just got overwhelmed and emotionally.
You hyperventilate sometimes out there. I'll tell you what, the last minute of a championship match especially, he was in a situation where he almost was beaten there in the last 30 seconds. And that scares the bejeepers out of him.
Yep.
And Tom Ty just was